Hey guys, this is the guy to Creepy here, and today we will be looking at the top 15 Japanese urban legends. Now, personally, I love urban legends, especially ones from Japan. And honestly, I love Japan, so yeah, I decided to make this video. And for those who do not want to get cursed by any of these, because apparently some of these can curse you, I would really not recommend watching this then. Okay? So, without further ado, here are the top 15 Japanese urban legends. Number 15. 8 feet tall, or as it is known in Japanese, Hachishaku-sama, just so happens to be a woman who is, 8 feet tall. And just so happens to have long black hair and makes the sound ho, ho, ho in a deep male voice, and it will appear differently depending on who sees it. Some say it's a raggedy old woman in a kimono. Others say it's a young woman wearing a funeral shroud. But she will only appear to children because it's easier. And yeah, that's basically Hachishaku-sama. Number 14. Tomina's Hell is a cursed Japanese poem written by Yamada and Yahiko for a book titled The Heart is Like a Rolling Stone. It is a poem that, if read aloud, will cause illness, misfortune, and possibly even death. Basically, it shows the story of a young girl named Tomino and her journey through hell. It's a really interesting poem. I'd recommend checking it out. Number 13. A Naboomay is a Japanese yokai, which is basically a woman who died while trying to give birth to her baby. But the problem is she never got to hold it, and she longs to hold her baby that she goes around hospitals trying to steal another one. So, basically, in hospitals now there is a ritual to protect from the Abume, where if a mother or the child are to die, it's placed in the mother's hands immediately no matter what, because an Abume knows a mother's grasp is way too strong. Yeah, basically, that is an Abume. Number 12. The story of Sadako basically follows a girl, named Sadako, who had a mother who had psychic abilities. Now, this mother would hang out with this one person called Dr. Akuma, who eventually convinced her mother to display her magic abilities publicly. She was unable to do so and was labeled a fraud. And because of this, she committed suicide, which forced Sadako to live with her father. Sadako also inherited her mother's psychic abilities and eventually went to work in an acting troupe where she fell in love with the sound director. But there was a terrible curse that manifested itself into an audio tape. Started killing members of the acting troupe. Because of this, she decided to go meet up with Dr. Akuma. But she was assaulted by a man named Nagao. And before she died and got thrown into a well by Nagao, because her psychic abilities failed to protect her, she swore vengeance on the world. And this is basically kind of and Sadako appears in the Grudge series and in the Ring series. Except in the Ring, Sadako is called Samara. But yeah, they're basically the same thing. Let's move on. Number 11. As a form of sacrifice for those who have committed suicide, they would shove the bodies into pillars that would help steady certain structures that were falling down. This practice was known as Hirobashira, or the human pillar. The most well-known example of this Hirobashira is the Matsu Castle. And many people over by the Matsu Castle have reported hearing screams. But yeah, basically, they would become protectors So, yeah, what a wonderful way to spend your afterlife. Let's move on. Number 10. Warning, if you decide to hear the story of Kashima Raiko, there is a chance that she will appear to you within a month. If you decide not to listen to this, you should probably skip to the next entry. Still here? Okay. Kashima Raiko is a story of a woman who just so happened to have fallen on some railroad tracks after being left for dead by some men who just tried to assault her. She got split in half by the train and currently wanders looking around for her legs. If she appears to you, she will ask you, "Where are my legs?" Respond with "on the Meishin Expressway." And she will then ask, "What's my name?" Do not at all respond with Kashima Raiko, or she will kill you. Instead, respond with Masked Death Demon, as that is what Kashima translates to. If you're successful, then she will crawl away and ask another victim who, just like you, has heard this story. Number 9. The girl from the gap just so happens to be a spirit who hides between furniture, doors, drawers, and lots of other stuff. If you are to see her one day, she will ask you to play hide and seek before disappearing off. The second time you see her, she will drag you into the gap and take you to hell or some other random dimension that is unknown. I would still just recommend not doing this. Number 8. Tikitiki, much like Kashima Raiko, is a woman who has been split in half by a train. But unlike Kashima Raiko, she goes around and decides to start killing other people and just taking their legs for herself. She carries a long scythe that makes the sound tiki-tiki, which is where she gets her name from. Number 7. The Himura Mansion is a place on the outskirts of Tokyo that just so happened to have the Himura family reside there. They would keep a girl locked up from civilization all the time. It was a ritual that they had. And every 50 years they would take that girl and pull her apart from limb to limb. And this would prevent the bad luck from coming. One day the girl just so happened to look out a nearby window and fall in love with a nearby boy. This apparently nullified the ritual, and when the father found out, he went crazy. And he thought that the best way to save his family was to kill them all, as the afterlife was way safer than what was to come. And, yeah, basically they all died. There have been many deaths reported in there, not counting the Himura family. And the game Fatal Frame is said to be based off of the legend of the Himura Mansion. Number 6. The Parabola just so happens to be this Japanese creature that it takes the form of a person who the victim is familiar with. And so when the time is right, they would love to scare them by removing their facial features and leaving a blank patch of skin. You know, kinda looking like Slender Man almost. But these creatures are harmless and they do not want to hurt people or kill them. They just want to give random people who were not expecting them a good scare. Number 5. Kuchisake Onna just so happened to have been a woman who cheated on her husband, who was a samurai. As soon as her husband found out that this was happening, he got so mad that he took his sword and split her mouth from ear to ear, making her kinda look like Jeff the Killer almost. So now she wears a surgical mask and wanders around. And when she comes across a person, she asks the simple question, "Am I pretty?" If you were to say no, she would kill you with giant scissors by splitting you in half. If you said yes, she would remove her surgical mask, revealing that she just so happens to have her mouth split. If you say no, you're cut in half. If you say yes, she will split her mouth and your mouth to look exactly like her. Luckily, there is a way to escape. If you say, you're average, so-so, or you use even another question like, am I pretty, you will confuse her just long enough for you to be able to escape. It's also rumored that if you don't answer, she will, or say that you have somewhere to be, she will apologize and excuse herself. Number 4. Tanomi, or as it translates to in English, the Pale Man, just so happens to be a spirit of a man who died one night while walking along the road and got killed by robbers. Just before he died, he angrily shouted, "I would be able to defend myself if I could see." And now, because he did not die peacefully, he wanders around trying to find the robbers who killed him and then killed them. But because he does not know what the robbers look like, he decides to kill anybody in his sight. But he is still blind, and he has the eyes on his palms, just like you see in this photo right here. And he can only see through them if he actually puts them up to his face. If this sounds familiar, it should, because this is almost exactly like the Pale Man that is found in the amazing movie Pan's Labyrinth. Number 3. Kakori Son is the Japanese version of the Ouija board. And it is not as dangerous, but it's still not recommended that you play. So, what you're going to need is a piece of paper, some black and red pen, a coin, and, well, it's recommended that you play with some friends. So what you're going to need to do is, like on the picture, you need to draw yes and no on both sides. Draw a red torii on the top middle, which is a traditional Japanese gate. And then you're going to draw either some letters or some Japanese symbols, depending on where you're playing this. And some numbers 0 through 9 on the bottom. So what you're going to want to do is keep a door open so that Kakori-san can get in. Place the coin on the red torii, and then you, or if you have friends, then all of you will place one finger on the red line on the coin. So then you gotta chant, Kakori-san, Kakori-san, if you are here, please move this coin. The coin will then move to yes, if you did this right. Then, this is where you ask a question. One note, Kakori-san is a trickster spirit and can easily lie to you. If you want to end the game, then say, Kakori-san, Kakori-san, please return home. Then the coin will rest again on the red torii. Once you are certain that Kakori-san has left, then you must destroy the paper by either burning it or ripping it to shreds. And you must also spend the coin by the end of the day. Once again, while this is not as dangerous as the Ouija board, it is still highly recommended that you do not play this game. Number 2. The Legend of the 10 Dreams goes like this. You will be dreaming for 10 days in succession. Each dream comes with a rule you must follow. If you wish to not hear this story, I would recommend skipping ahead, as if you do hear this story, there is a chance that you will be having the same nightmare and dreams 3 days later. Still here? Okay, let's proceed. First day. You will be laying in your bed, and then there will be a girl standing outside your window. Now, what you're going to want to do is follow the first rule, which is let the girl in. The second day, the girl will be above you. She has long hair covering her face so you can't see her face. She's muttering something, and after a while you will find out she's saying, please, please. The second rule, let the girl into the bed and to lie down next to you. Third day, you will be lying in the bed next to the girl, and you can now see her face. And it's horribly burnt. The third rule: don't freak out. The fourth day, the girl will say, let's go to the park. Fourth rule: get up out of the bed and take her to the nearest park without saying a word. The fifth day, you will see that there were two creatures pushed, and one is pushing the other in a stroller. So, you'll find out eventually that the mother is a cat and the baby is a dog. Fifth rule: you have to kill one of them. The sixth day, you will be playing with the girl at the park and you will see an airship that's about to take off. Sixth rule: get on the airship before it takes off. Seventh day, make sure, and while you're on the airship, there will be seats everywhere, filled with people who, just like you, have heard this story. The seventh rule: find yourself a seat at all costs. Eighth day, there will be red roses and black roses raining down on the airship. The eighth rule: take all the black roses and throw them out the airship. The ninth day, the airship will land back at the park, and the little girl is still there. Ninth rule: go back to your house and lay in the bed again. The 10th day, you will not know what will happen on the 10th day, unless you have followed all of the instructions of the previous days. It is also important that you tell somebody the story when you are awake. Otherwise, you will go back to the first day of the dream. And the number one Japanese urban legend is the story of the cowhead is apparently so horrifying, so frightening, so morbid, that if anyone manages to listen to the entire story, word to word, they will experience nightmares and die of fright a couple days later. No one really knows exactly the entire story, though, so thank goodness. But we only have a little bit of the story. The only part of the story we know is that there was this village out in the middle of a desert that was very, very low on food. The villagers resorted to feasting on chickens, cows, cats, and dogs. One day, a man with a cow head comes along, and because the villagers are so desperate for food, they take the man with the head of a cow, and they start to slice him up and eat him. And then, here comes some bad luck. That's the only part of the story we know. There have been some rumors that we can connect this legend to Tetsuya Komatsu, a Japanese sci-fi writer, though there's no evidence. Also, there is a Ukrainian folktale called Cow's Head, as well as a 2003 film called Gozu. But we can't link these either. But for those who are interested, I would really recommend checking out the 2003 film called Gozu, which is actually where the picture that you're seeing right now is from. But yeah, I love this personally, and I thought it deserved the number one spot. And so that was my list of the top 15 Japanese urban legends. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys can sleep tonight. So anyway, if you like this, please like, subscribe, and give feedback for more horror content. And anyway, I don't have anything else to say. Bye!